see, hour, and then it puts parentheses after hour and puts the cursor inside the parentheses, and that's where your data is going to go. We need to subtract it from the hour of D4. So type D4. Alright, and as you can see here, that is 8 hours. Well, we still have to figure out how to get that extra half hour computed into this decimal number. So keep that cell selected and go back into the function writer. Alright, so we got the hour of E4 minus the hour of D4. That's how we figure out how many whole hours we worked that day. Now we need to figure out how many fractions of the next hour were worked and represent that as a decimal number. So to do that, we're going to put everything we just did in parentheses to keep it separate from the rest of the equation. That's not always necessary, but it's always best to do it. So put a parentheses at the beginning of that function, but after the equal sign. Everything has to be after the equal sign. Nothing can be before that equal sign. So put your first parentheses, opening parentheses, after the equal sign, and then another one at the very end of everything. So all of this should be enclosed in a set of parentheses now. So now we need to figure out the hour of E4 minus the hour of D4. Then we've got to figure out how to concatenate that, or in other words, add to that the minute section represented as a decimal. So we'll say the hour so this whole part right here now is considered just one whole statement because it's inside of one set of parentheses. That's considered one whole statement. And then we'll say plus, and then do another set of parentheses, and put your cursor inside that because we're going to write another statement. And then we're going to put minute. Now, I should actually be point and clicking your way through this so you understand how to use this. Here it is, minute. Hit next. Now, minute should be between the next set, should be inside of the parentheses you just made. And then minute of E4, there it is, yeah, E4. And then go back down here, and then go to the end of the parentheses for the E4, but not before the closing parentheses for the whole statement. So you should be in between the two closing parentheses, and put minus, and then minute again is still selected, so hit next again, and then select D4. I believe that's right? And then as you see right here, this result right here, this little box is a result box. It shows you a preview of what this function will return. Well, you'll see the number 38. That's because minute of E4 minus minute of D4 is 30 minutes. And hour of E4 minus hour of D4 is 8 hours. Well, since you're converting everything to decimal, it doesn't know that you want the hours plus the minutes. It thinks 8 and 3 are supposed to be added together. So, or rather, 30 minutes, and then the number 30 and the number 8 are added together, and it becomes 38. Well, obviously, you didn't work 38 hours. So you need to figure out how to convert those minutes into a decimal representation, which is what I showed you on the calculator. The 30, as you see, if you take the first whole part of this statement out and the plus, everything from the first opening parentheses to the plus symbol, you'll see that the result of this is 30. So that shows 30, and this shows 8. Now, after this D4 and then the closing parentheses for the D4, but before the closing parenthesis for the statement, put a /, which is the computer symbol for division, and then 60, because remember, we're dividing the minutes by 60 to get our decimal representation, our percentage. And there we go. Now, when you do the division, you got to remember to nest this part inside of another set of parentheses, because the order of operations kind of interferes with that. Division comes before subtraction and addition. A division and multiplication come before addition and subtraction. So it'll try to compute this minute of D4 divided by 60 before it subtracts minute of E4 from anything. So what you got to do is put minute of E4 and minute of D4 in their own set of parentheses, nest them inside of another set of parentheses, and then put your divided by 60. That way it knows to calculate this amount first, because parentheses come before multiplication and division. So it'll know to calculate this amount first and then calculate it against this number. So it'll return 30 and then divide 30 by 60, and you'll have 0.5, which is half. In this case, that's correct, because that 30 minutes is half an hour. So the number 30 divided by 60, 30 is half of 60. So you have 0.5 now, plus the first part of the statement, which is 8, just the number 8, and it returns 8.5 hours. Select OK. As you can see, from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. displays 8.5. Now this function we just wrote, we're going to be using in all of these cells. So what you can do is click on this cell, and even though that shows a number there, if you copy what's in that cell, you're actually copying the function. So if you hit Control C or right click and select copy, and then go to another cell and click paste, it actually pastes the function in. It comes in handy that way. And as you can see, that I didn't expect that, actually, to be honest. The function automatically adjusts itself to the row that you pasted in. So we didn't have to rewrite the function every time we pasted it into a different row. For example, Monday is already correctly edited. We did not have to go back up here ourselves and edit it to reflect D3, where we copied D4 and E4 because we were on row 4 and we copied, I'm in that box, there we go. We were on row 4 and we copied column E and column D of row 4, or we used them in the function. So when you start to write a function for the 5th row, you would have to change E4 and D4 to E5 and D5 to represent the column D of row 5, column E of row 5. But evidently, it'll automatically update it when you post that function into other rows. So here we have our result of hours for that day. Now, let's carry this one step further. Let's say our hourly rate is $25 an hour. That's what we're paid, $25 an hour. So click in this pay for Monday. So that would be for me it would be G3. And in G3 you're going to write a function to calculate the number of hours worked times your pay rate, which is $25 an hour. So all you'll need, in this case, it'll be very simple. You just need F3 times 25. So you can write that up here. And it should be product, I believe. Product, and then open parentheses, and then we're going to put, remember it was column F, row 3, so F3, and then in computers, the asterisk symbol is multiplication. So you would hit shift and then the number 8 on your keypad, and that would be the asterisk symbol, and that would give you multiplication. And you would need shift, actually, you know what? We probably don't even need this function. We could probably just write it just out like that. Nope, evidently not. Alright, so anyway, product of F3, and I bet I don't need that asterisk either. I bet I need a semicolon, and 25. And there you go. We made $200 that day. Let's do that again in this cell with the GUI, the point and click stuff. Alright, and this time we need F4, the data from F4, which is the total number of hours worked that day, and we need to compute that against our pay rate to display it here. So click on G4, then click the